Thank you, thank you. How are y'all doing tonight? Good. All right, I want y'all to breathe in slow for about 3 seconds. Breathe in. Now exhale. Y'all feel a little less stressful now? Y'all want to do it one more time? One more time. So how many of y'all had a stressful day today? Stressful day? How about a stressful week so far? How many of y'all feel like y'all have anxiety? Okay, y'all ever feel like with y'all's anxiety, y'all's heart starts to tighten up? Feel like your legs are a little bit jello? Y'all ever wondered why that happens and why you're so anxious and have anxiety about things that haven't even happened yet? That you're always looking towards the future? That's kind of one of those things. Like anxiety is one of those that you're worrying about something you can't control, that you don't understand. So through this, kind of doing this, I was looking through some different things to do about anxiety, some quotes. One of the ones that I really liked from Maya Angelou is, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to reduce yourself by them." So you don't have to define yourself by your anxieties, by your stress, and all that. I mean, stress sometimes is good. Can y'all agree with me on that? If you don't believe me, what do all girls like to wear, especially if they're going to get married? What do they like to wear? Diamonds. They want to wear a diamond. How do you make a diamond? Pressure. By putting stress and pressure on it. The stress and pressure makes a diamond. What makes pearls that girls like to wear? Irritation. Stress. Traumatic events from a clamshell, a traumatic event, a stress of it is what makes the pearl. If that clamshell does not have any stress on it or anything, it will not produce the pearl. If you don't put stress on coal, it won't make a diamond. But what if you put stress on metal? What happens when you you're going to get a stress fracture. And what happens when you get a stress fracture on metal, or if you have stress fracture on your bones? It's going to crack and break, which is a lot of times what we have. So one of the first things I want to do, and I know I told Josh to put it up there, I know it's on your note sheets, is there is a National Suicide Hotline number. And if you can put that up there, it's probably towards the end, I would hope. But I wanted to have that up there first to talk to you guys. If y'all ever need help, there is a number to call. It's the 1-800-273-8255. If y'all can write that down. Because that's something when I was going through this, I really wanted to kind of talk to you guys about that. Like, it's great to talk to us. If there's a leader you need to talk to us, talk to your parents, talk to somebody. If y'all are having any severe anxiety, severe stress, severe depression, and because sometimes just talking to us might not be everything. You might need to get on medication. There are problems where people are having that have chemical imbalances, things like that. I know Josh kind of wanted me to talk on this because I have a psychology background. I do have a degree in psychology. Doesn't make me know everything on how to cure everybody, because trust me, I have severe anxiety and things like that. Just to tell y'all a little story from about 3 years ago, I was having a lot of stress at work. I was having a lot of family issues and things like that. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was really stressed out that week. I had almost had a panic attack while I was at work because I was stressed out. I was new to the position. I had a lot of people going and wanting things from me. I had a lot of family issues going on. That day, on Thanksgiving Day, the day you should be thankful, I went to my gun cabinet and got out a gun and was just staring at it. You know, it wasn't loaded or anything, but I had the bullets not far from me, just staring at it. And I was looking at it and thinking about it, and I was like, you know, I could just go ahead, be done with it. Had to put it down, put it away, had to call somebody, and was like, hey, you take my guns for a while. I don't want them in my house. I need to just be away from them. I don't feel safe. And I talked to a therapist for a while because I needed to. And that's hard for me to do because, again, I've got a degree in psychology. I'm like, okay, I can do it myself. I can't. So I had to talk to somebody. And that person, when I was talking to them, they were talking to me and they said, are you tired? And I was like, well, yeah. And they were like, well, you sound it. And I go, well, yeah, because I'm already planning out 5 to 10 minutes ahead of what we're going to talk about. And she goes, really? I go, yeah. I'm already planning, hey, if I say this, you're going to probably say this, so I can say this, and then you can say that, and I'll say this, and we'll keep going. And she goes, is that ever tiring for you? And I was like, well, yeah, but that's how I deal with talking to people. I don't like talking to people unless they talk to me. And if I got to talk to somebody, I got to plan out what I'm going to say, guess what they're going to say, and hopefully be okay. And she just looked at, well, she didn't look at me. We were on the phone, but she just said, that just sounds very tiring. And as I started going over with her just things in my life, she was looking at me and she goes, do you ever give yourself credit? She's like, I hear you saying all these things that you do for everybody else and all these things that sound really great, but do you ever give yourself credit? Do you ever love yourself? And that hit me hard because I was like, well, I've just got to do everything for everybody else. I'll fix myself when I get time. And she was like, no, you've got to love yourself. You've got to give yourself credit. You can't blame everybody else's situation on you, which is what I was doing. I was at work. I was working myself to death because I thought everybody was looking at me. If somebody asked me a question about our system and I didn't know the answer, they were fine. They were like, okay, I'll go find somebody else. Well, inside while I was working, I was beating myself up. Well, I got to be an idiot because I didn't know the answer. I'm not good. I can't get there. I'm looking at my family and I feel like I'm a failure. I'm like, okay, well, my daughter's crying and I can't figure out why. I don't understand. I felt like a failure. But I wasn't giving myself credit that I was taking care of my daughter. I was getting people what they needed. I was doing the things I should do to be what I needed to be. So our first thing is some of our biggest problems start with faulty thinking. It's amazing how most of our problems can actually start within your brain, right between your ears. And that's very true. I mean, as when I was you guys' age and our big thing when I was young was we'd all call and we'd all try to figure out what we were going to do that weekend, that Friday, that Saturday night. There'd be times when I would call people and I would get into a depressed mode. And I would call people like Josh and I would call some of my other friends and they wouldn't pick up. And my faulty thinking at that time was that, oh, they don't like me. Oh, they think I'm annoying. And I would sit there and be put in a loop. I don't know if y'all want to call it voices, a loop, whatever you want to call it. That's what I was. I was going through my head and I was going, okay, well, they don't like me because of this. Oh, they must think I'm fat, so they must not like me because they're all skinny and I'm fat and I'm the only one, so I must be the ugly person and they just put up with me. Oh, this, and I would go down a whole row and it would be 2 or 3 days of me just by myself sitting there torturing myself all day long. And it would really be when I would finally call them, but I would never tell Josh or any of them this. But I'd call them, they would go, oh, well, I was just a little busy. Or I'm sorry, I missed your call. And it was, again, my faulty thinking. There's been plenty of times those things have happened. Do any of y'all constantly worry? Do y'all immediately go when anything goes not the way you plan to worst case scenario?
Yes.
Yeah. Do y'all have immediately? Do y'all ever go have a relationship with somebody and they don't answer their phone, or they don't answer your text in about 20 minutes or so, and you're thinking they're probably cheating on me. They probably think I'm annoying. They probably think this. They're out with somebody else. This is another one on there was, do you judge yourself harshly? Do y'all, I mean, I know I'm telling y'all about me and judging myself harshly. Do y'all judge yourself harshly? And that's the same thing, even with sports. Yeah. I mean, even with sports, I'm that way. I am not a competitive person, but I am very competitive with myself. Like, are y'all competitive with yourselves? Do y'all beat yourselves up? So with that type of faulty thinking, we've kind of got to, this is what this message is about looking at it from a different view to understand that we don't need to think negatively all the time. So one of the things I was watching on TikTok probably about 3 weeks ago, and I know I sent it to Austin, was that to correct negative thinking takes about, it was 3 months. It took about 3 months to correct your negative thinking by actually doing positive thinking. Normally, to break a habit, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to break a habit. Well, when you do negative thinking, you got to do that 3 to 4 times that amount to correct your negative thinking. And one of the other quotes that I had that I thought was really good was, anxiety is a thin stream of fear trickling through the mind. It cuts a channel into which all other thoughts are drained. So if you think of that, and if y'all have ever taken water and poured it on some dry ground and watched it, and then if you do it again and you keep doing it, it's going to create a pathway, a channel to go down. So when you're thinking negatively, when you're thinking and busting yourself up and not actually talking to somebody about it, then you're rewiring your brain to constantly think of negative things. So when anything happens, you're immediately going to think worst case scenario. At my job, I was telling, I think I was telling you about it this week. I talked to Austin too. But anyways, this week, they're starting to lay off people at my job. They sent out an email, said, we're going to be laying people off starting today and for the next couple of months. And I mean, everybody in the warehouse was freaking out. Oh, it's going to be me. Oh, it's going to be me. Everybody's thinking worst case scenario on it. We ended up in my department, we ended up having 2 people get let go that same day that the email came out. And I mean, everybody's negatively thinking, and I'm over here and I'm like, you know what? If it happens, it happens. And guess what? I've been here long enough. They can do that. I'll get a severance package. I'm not going to think negatively on it. I'm going to think positive. I'm going to think, you know what? I can get another job. You know what? I'm going to be able to survive. So severe stress has the power to become debilitating and life-altering. We all deal with anxiety to some degree, so it's pivotal that we learn how to recognize, reset, redirect our anxious thoughts and patterns. And that's why I asked y'all if y'all ever had any where y'all felt like y'all were about to have a heart attack or your legs were jello. I mean, I know coming up here, until I get up here, I'm nervous. If you're not nervous before you speak, I've never met somebody that's not nervous before they speak. But you get nervous, your stomach gets tight, you got to go to the bathroom a couple of times, your legs feel a little jello. Do you feel that way?
I looked at Josh as soon as you said go to the bathroom a couple of times.
Yeah. I mean, you do. When you get up to speak to a lot of people, you get nervous until you get on that stage. And then it just feels fine. You feel good. You still don't?
No, I'm nervous until it's done. It's like, okay, I'm done now.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's fun, but there are ways to redirect when some of this happens. Like for me, when I get up here, I'm calm. I redirect myself. I just kind of relax myself. When y'all get into stressful situations and y'all are stressed out, what do y'all do? What are some of the things y'all do? You stutter. You bite your bottom lip. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are stressed out. They do the rubber bands. They do a lot of fidgeting. All right, now what do y'all do to stop the stress? Stop talking? How many of y'all pray or meditate? Blast music. I mean, praying and meditating is really good. Doing what I said before. Doing a slow breath in and about 3 to 4 seconds of a breath out really will relax you. Will it stop the loop that you might be in? Probably not. But that's why we've got to learn to start resetting ourselves. And one of the good ways is what Pastor P said last week. Pastor P, do you remember some of the stuff you said last week when you got to redirect?
You gotta ground yourself.
You got to ground yourself. That's right. And what was one of the things you got to ground yourself? You got to focus on 3 different things within the room. You got to make yourself see. You got to feel. You got to smell. If you can taste the air, I mean, you can taste the air. Hey, if it's Fruity Pebbles that helps ground you when you're thinking of that stuff, do it. But those are some things that'll help. Anxiety is how our brain deals with danger. Did y'all realize that some anxiety is not bad? It helps you do your fight or flight. So not all the time is it a bad thing. And there's a little hormone called cortisol. It's released when your brain senses danger. Ultimately, cortisol is good at keeping you alive. It makes your heart rate rise, ingests glucose into your muscles, pinpoints pain, and it heightens your senses. Constant negative thinking, though, makes these chemicals flow freely, and our brains are not great at distinguishing authentic threats from imaginary threats, which is where anxiety comes in, where anxiety is normally you always looking to the future and focusing on the negative, worst case scenarios. So one of the things when I was looking through a lot about anxiety and stress is when you're depressed, you're always looking on the past. When you're anxious and you've got anxiety, you're always looking to the future. When you're here in the present, and like we just said, when you're grounded into the present, you're doing pretty good. So God doesn't want these stress chemicals serving through the body at the time. It's harmful. It is harmful after a while of doing that over and over. If you're stressing your body out by constantly being stressed out and worrying and having all those chemicals running through your body, well, it's going to wear you down. It's going to make you very tired. It's going to make your muscles very, very tired. It's going to make your brain very tired to where you're not going to want to sleep at night because you're going to sit there and just fixate on what that problem is. And when you fixate on future problems, it's going to come true more than likely because guess what you're doing? You're making it happen. You're making it be that worst case scenario. If you're always sitting there with your friend and you're always thinking that person doesn't like you and you're not treating yourself right, then how are they going to treat you?
Right.
If you're not treating yourself right, they're not going to treat you right. If you can't love yourself, they're not going to know how to love you. If you're worried about your finances and you're worried about what's going on over here, but you're not paying attention to what you're doing right now, then you're going to build that debt up. So let's read in Philippians 4:8 through 9. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any moral excellence, and if there is anything praiseworthy, dwell on these things. Do what you have learned and received and heard from me and seen in me, and God of peace will be with you. So what are some of those things they're talking about? What do you feel that Paul's trying to get out of this passage? Did y'all hear any negative talk that he just said in that? Did he tell you to focus on every one of your problems, to focus on the economy, anything like that? No. He said, so for whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there's any moral excellence, and if there's anything praiseworthy, dwell on those things. Paul encourages us to replace negative thoughts with positive virtues. We can't just reject them, we must redirect them. So it's hard to say, hey, I'm just not going to think about what's going on in my life and what the situations that are going on. It's hard to say that. But it's better to say, hey, I know these things are going on, but these things are what's good and what I'm going to focus on and get better at. Some virtues listed in Philippians 4 should make a filter for a healthy life. What's true? What's true means is reliable and honest. We often fill our mind with lies, accusations, and worst-case scenario. Paul encourages us to focus on what we know to be true, and that alone. Stress is a waste of imagination. So what are some things that y'all know to be true about yourself? Something positive that y'all know to be true. Positive. Think positively. That's the thing we're trying to do, is redirect. So, most of the time what? Yeah, that you're a mostly kind person. Well, how about you talk to a couple people and actually find out how kind you are? Actually listen to some of your friends that actually tell you what's good about you.
Yeah.
Because the big thing about me, there's been plenty of people that tell me I'm a nice person, I'm a great person, I'm this, I'm that, but I don't believe them. Because I don't want to believe that, because again, we are all our own worst enemy when it comes to negativity. Because guess what? Nobody else sees that you get to see every single day. Every screw up you relive. Every negative thought makes you relive what's going on. So it's hard to say, hey, I'm just going to be true. Well, I'm sometimes a nice person. But when you talk to your friends, you find out you're normally a pretty nice person. You're normally pretty good at listening to them. For some of y'all, it might be that you're having a great hair day. It could be something as easy as that if you're having a really good hair day. Focus on that virtue for a minute. It's nice to have good hair. Look, I am very glad that I'm not going to go bald. I am not going to go bald. There is no way. Josh ain't going bald for a while. I can already tell you, because I don't even have a 4-head. I got a 3-head. I can only fit 3 fingers right there. I can't fit 4. So I already know if I actually have a receding hairline, I'll finally have a 4-head. So what are some other things that y'all could focus on that y'all find true? What are some other things that y'all can focus on that y'all find true about yourself? Some actual true virtues, something that would make you not think negatively. That you're worthy. Something positive.
Advocate. I'm a good therapist.
You're a good therapist? That's good. You're always kind. Advocate.
Always smile.
Always smile. Those are good. Those are very good things. So, God's word is a weapon. It's a weapon against the lies of the enemy and even the lies we makeup of in our own mind. I don't know if y'all have ever read this book before. Also, I don't know if you have, but it's called The Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis. Have you read it? Okay, well, I really recommend. Now, for some of y'all, this will probably go over y'all's head, but it is a very deep, deep book. And the premise of the book is about a demon talking to his nephew, Wormwood, and it's Screwtape is the demon. And it's from the demon's perspective of trying to keep people away from God. And one of the things that he said in the book was that it's not that we try to put things in people's heads, we try to keep things out. And that's one of the biggest things is that the devil will try to do is to keep anything good out of your life and in your head. They will keep it out. They will keep you worried about what's going to happen next, who did what, compared to what God can do for you and what you can see in yourself. But like I said, I would definitely, if you could ever read that book or listen to it on audio, it is a really good book. It is really deep and thought-provoking. But what is noble? This means something that's worthy of respect. Don't respect yourself and fill your mind with self-destructive thoughts. Focus on what's noble and respectable of others and yourself. So again, noble means something that's worthy of respect. Do y'all feel that y'all are respectable?
Yes.
Do y'all feel that the world respects you?
No.
Do you feel that the world makes women respectful?
No.
Does the world make men look respectful to women? No. I dare you to just to go to any rap song and you can tell there's nothing respectful in any of that. So, yeah. So these are the things I'm saying. Like, when you want to look at being noble, you look at respecting yourself, not tearing yourself down, guys. Like, while I'm up here just listening, I'm just trying to tell y'all, it is hard doing this. It is hard to not think negatively. It is very hard. I mean, we all have mirrors. We all can look in the mirror, and we're all going to see our flaws. We can all go inside our own brains and realize it's a scary place in all of our heads. But when you start to respect yourself, it starts to get a little clearer. Self-destructive language is just that. It's destructive. I mean, it is a very bad thing. I know I've talked on, and y'all understand that when you look at yourself and you just think about yourself, you're going to think of nothing but your flaws. But what I'm asking is when we did those breaths, when we start doing those breaths again, like here in a second, I want you to think of something good about yourself. Think of something respectful. Think of something that you know is going to help you. Now, breathe in. Hold it there. Hold it. Put something good in your head. Let's try it one more time since somebody said they can't. All right. So now the next one is right and pure. These are thoughts focusing on honoring God.
It's not my fault, I promise.
It's all right. Right and pure. These are thoughts that are honoring God and others. Actively fight the urge to fill your mind with unrighteous or impure thoughts. Rather think of what's right and pure. If you wouldn't want someone to read it, you don't think they need to think about it. The other thing is, and the thing that I have to do sometimes, because I've got a 5-year-old daughter. If I'm going to be looking at something, do I want my 5-year-old daughter to be looking at that? Probably not. If I'm around, do I need to have my 5-year-old daughter hear me cuss? Probably not. Does she need to hear me talk bad about myself? Probably not. Because guess what? My little 5-year-old daughter is my biggest cheerleader. I can be down on myself and she'll come by and grab me by the hand and say, Daddy, you're a good daddy. I love you. I mean, really think about that, because that's something that y'all need to do. Y'all don't have kids, but think about it. Y'all got little brothers, little sisters, little nephews, something like that. Somebody that y'all know that probably looks up to you. And guess what they don't want to learn, or should not learn, is bad thinking. They don't need to see a bad example and see you constantly putting yourself down, constantly making yourself anorexic or whatever, doing things that you shouldn't be doing just because you think you need to live to the world standards. That's not going to work, and neither is it going to help the person that probably looks up to you, because what y'all might not know is there are a lot of people that look up to you guys. They might not just be a small kid. They might be somebody older. They might be somebody that sees how good y'all are doing at y'all's age that maybe somebody else didn't do at that age. So when you focus on doing what's right and pure, you use your words to help people. You use your platform online to heal and never hurt. You use your influence to spread hope. You use your words to bring encouragement. So if y'all are on Facebook, anything like that, don't be trying to bash anybody. Try to put positive things out there. It's all right. I know with me and Austin, we trade back videos. Normally they're all very positive videos to give to each other to make us think. And I mean, that helps me, because guess what? I know TikTok has like an algorithm. Guess what mostly comes up on mine? Positive things. Because I try to do that. I try to redirect myself. And that might be a thing that you got to do with your Twitter, with your TikTok, with your Facebook. Try to get all those things. So, what about admirable and lovely? These are things that are pleasing and enjoyable. This simply means to think of things that make you happy. What are some things that y'all can think of that make you happy? And it can literally be food if somebody wants to say food, because I think of food.
Dude, don't you?
What kind of food?
That's where I go.
Chicken.
Some chicken? Anybody got a favorite restaurant they like to go to?
El Toro.
Chick-fil-A? Chick-fil-A's got good food. So when y'all are... All right, Rachel, I'm going to call you out on this one. What kind of foods, what kind of things make you happy?
Oh.
Right now,
Yeah.
food.
Food or anything that makes you happy?
Right now, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
Sleeping all night long.
Sleeping all night long. So,
If I could sleep all night long.
I know. I'm about to. All right, guys, real quick, last little bit. Reject the chaos of worry and redirect your thoughts to the peace found in God. That just means to be still. Like what we've been doing, the breathing and all that. Just be still. Think of something happy. Release everything from your mind. Reject critical self-talk and redirect your thoughts to the love and affirmation of God. Show yourself the same compassion God shows you. Be kind. God is always great to us. He has forgiven us for everything that we've done. Reject negativity. Redirect your thoughts to all the amazing blessings God has put before you and be thankful. And the last one is, if you want to change your life, change your thinking. Center your thoughts on God, reject the negative, and redirect towards the positive. Does that seem pretty easy? Again, if it's not up there, please call that hotline if y'all are having any problems. If y'all are being suicidal or anything like that, please, please, please talk to somebody.